decibel levels have gone up just a little bit in Greece there as the players step out onto the pitch. You can hear the theme for the Europa Conference League there. Remember, there are other matches tonight in Europe too. We'll keep you right up to date with those, as Bayer Leverkusen and Marseille and Roma and Atalanta tried to reach the Europa League final. It is Aston Villa and Olympiacos here. The villains out to invade Greece. Unai Emery's side find themselves in a very tricky spot, trying to overturn a 2-goal deficit at Olympiacos to reach their first European final since they conquered the continent back in 1982. Can the current crop write their name into Villa folklore, all against the odds? It's the Europa Conference League semi-final second leg, live on Talksport in the company of the Aston Villa League Cup winning captain Andy Townsend and our very own Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Hugh, and good evening to you for the night that Aston Villa hope isn't the biggest of their season. Last week's first leg defeat has taken some coming to terms with, performance that bore no relation to the vast majority under Unai Emery, and tonight their biggest European night for 42 years needs one of the best comebacks in the club's history. But of course, there is still hope as they look to overturn the 2-goal deficit. It's less than 4 weeks since Villa won by 2 at Arsenal, and that performance on the back of 2 substandard league displays was one of their best for years. Emery himself has been in this position before, masterminding a comeback from a 2-goal first leg home defeat in the Sevilla days on the way to claiming the Europa League trophy. But this is a night amidst the raucous, deafening atmosphere engendered by the passionate home support who are expecting a first ever European final. A night where everything is going to have to go Villa's way. And it is that fervent expectation that might just give Villa hope. The prize of that maiden final, played just 10 miles from this stadium in Piraeus, is so large, and with so many thinking this is a foregone conclusion. How much would it take for doubt to set in? How would supporters and the team react if Villa were to score first? Well, these are the teams. Salakis in goal for Olympiacos. The back four of Rodinei, Retsos, David Carmo and Kinney. Heze and Iborra. For Tunis, Chiquinho and Pedence. And last week's hat-trick hero El Kaabi. Villa have Martinez in goal, Conce, Diego, Carlos, Pau Torres and Digne, Cash, McGinn, Douglas Luiz and Diaby, with Bailey off Watkins up front. Not a night for the faint-hearted, Andy Townsend.
Not a night for the faint-hearted at all, Jim. Look, they're going to be playing big on emotion tonight, Olympiacos. They've got a very healthy lead. They're in front of such a fervent, packed home crowd here, an expectant crowd, that all the signs suggest they're on their way to a final. Villa have got to buck that trend. They've got to show that they can handle whatever they get thrown at them this evening and come back with a punch of their own.
A big turnaround needed on the biggest of nights, or will Villa's road to Athens end 10 miles short? Olympiacos have already had one heavy home defeat in Europe this season. Can Emery's men inflict another to pen an extraordinary, triumphant sequel to Act 1 of their Greek tragedy? Olympiacos in red and white striped shirts, Aston Villa in their change kit of kind of two-tone blue, and the referee Felix Zwar of Germany, who's taken charge of wins for Arsenal and Brighton in Europe this season, waits for the signal to get us underway. Villa kicking from left to right in the first half. The ball laid down for Ezri Konsa. Konsa playing right back in the early stages, but it'd be interesting to see whether Villa do go with a back three. They've only done it twice this season, most recently in a thumping home defeat to Tottenham, where they really didn't play well at all. They have the option potentially of playing Consul on the right of 3 centre-halves to get Cash and Digne forward as wing-backs. Olympiacos have got possession, just lost out. Bailey's in there strongly, and Iborra with a couple of tumbles and a roll. Just make sure the referee realises that contact was made. Bailey actually has hurt himself in the process as well. His left knee already very heavily strapped even before the game started, and that might just have further exacerbated an injury problem there. Inside the first minute still, 0-0 and 4-2 to Olympiacos.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting, Jim, as you mentioned there, about whether or not Lucadinha and Mati Cash operate as wing-backs. They might do that a little bit in possession, out of possession. It might go the other way a little bit. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Very early days in the tie.
ball out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the left-hand side for Olympiacos. It's going to be Kinney, and he could be one of the keys tonight. 34-year-old, he is a right-back playing on the left. Throw knocked forward, and Chiquinho trying his luck, dragging one wide of the near post. Out of play for a goal kick. Yeah,
chance there for Chiquinho. Just a little loose header from Diego Carlos, actually. Just mistimed the leap and ended up inadvertently flicking it on in towards the corner of his own 6-yard box, where Chiquinho takes the strike. In the end, is well blocked.
Villa more than happy just to play their way out from the back with Emi Martinez. The last major European semi-final. Next Anderlecht back in 1982. Tony Morley scoring the winner in the first leg. The second leg, a brilliantly drab goalless draw in Brussels. It was a magnificent performance that day from Villa to get themselves through to the final. 42 years on, they find themselves in the first major European semi-final since.
Yeah, playing it around at the back, Villa a lot. You can hear the boos from the home fans as they want their team to get in and around Villa. Villa cool and composed, in possession, in and around the edge of their own box at the moment.
Touch from McGinn.
It's well played.
It was through the penalty area, and now out towards Konsa, who's got Cash just ahead of him down the right-hand touchline here for Villa. Cash playing a little 1-2 infield, coming together off the ball there, involving Heze and Bailey, but Cash has done well to win the first corner of the night off David Carmo.
Yeah, really good play that from Villa. Under huge pressure, deep in their own 18-yard box, couple of clever passes, eventually releasing Ezri Konsa to Matty Cash, who's playing that little bit further in front of him. And Villa now force a corner. Leon Bailey with it, swinging it in off the right side with his left foot.
So it's a 4th-minute corner, and an early goal for Aston Villa here completely changes the complexion of the tie. Assistant referee has just walked into the corner quadrant to prevent Bailey from taking the corner quickly, because the ref wants a word with McGinn and the Olympiacos goalkeeper Salakis. He's happy with everything now. Bailey just adjusts the ball, actually moves it closer to the dead ball line along the quadrant, now runs up, knocks it short to the right-hand side of the penalty area for Jabby, back for Bailey, to Jabby again, trying to drive the ball in. It hit the nearest Olympiacos player and ricochets down towards Bailey. Bailey back outside the penalty area here for Douglas Luiz. And they will certainly feel that he's got a lot to prove tonight. 1-2 between him and Bailey. Villa with good possession early in this game, and the last 30-40 seconds or so have been all around the edge of the Olympiacos penalty area. Now played out to the left-hand side of the box. Watkins going up for a header, and David Carmo, the centre-half, in behind him, was able to effect the block and put it out of play for a corner.
I thought Ollie Watkins was going to get there first. Really good football again from Villa down the right side. McGinn switching it out to the left. Clever little ball clipped in towards the near post. Ollie Watkins looks like he's getting there first, flicks his head at it, doesn't make contact, and David Carmo behind him knocks it out for another corner. But really positive start from Villa with the ball. They've been really composed.
Douglas Luiz will take this corner from the Villa left. He has scored with a couple of left wing corners in his Villa career. He doesn't score with that one. It was a poor delivery, far too close to the goalkeeper Salakis, who was able to comfortably play.
Yeah, easily caught that one and handled by the goalkeeper, but really good opportunity I think that was for Ollie Watkins. Ball coming off the right side, it's a clever little ball clipped in, and it looks like he's going to get there. He's level with the near post, about 5-6 yards out. Looks like he's going to get there, sort of flicks his head at it, but doesn't make contact.
Well defended by David Carmo, the Angolan centre-half, who's on loan from Porto. Olympiacos worked the ball forward, trying to get Akabi in. Martinez came out and swept up. He was offside anyway. Excellent hat-trick that he scored in that first leg, taking his tally for the season to 31. He'd scored in 8 successive games earlier this year. He's got 13 goals in Europe over the course of the campaign. Clearly confident of more. Player in his 30s, not too heralded really, before his move to Olympiacos, the Moroccan international, but he has been scoring goals for fun over the last 8-9 months or so, and Villa have first-hand experience of just how good he can be. But Villa have got possession as Javi coming in off the left-hand side. Good crossfield ball from him to Cash. Really good start this, confident from Emery's men. Good possession, not looking fazed by the situation in terms of the deficit that they face, or the atmosphere all around them either. McGinn, long crossfield ball from him out to Lucadinha, down by the left-hand corner flag. Former Barcelona man working in inside. Jarvi there first ahead of Iborra. Now Douglas Luiz, finding McGinn. McGinn trying to drill one across, which hit Pedence. And then Iborra, the very tall, long-legged Spanish midfielder, former Leicester man, is able to work it back towards Salakis. Just a little bit of temporary respite for Olympiacos, but Villa will be thrilled with the start they've made.
Absolutely dominant with the ball. Olympiacos haven't had a kick yet. We're 7 minutes in. All they've done is shuffle from side to side, sit quite deep in their own half, as Villa knock it around at the back with good composure into McGinn, into Douglas Luiz in the middle of the park. But they've kept the ball really well and with a purpose. When they've had the opportunity, they've been able to whip one or two decent crosses in, 2 corners already. So I think it's just the ideal sort of start that Unai Emery's men have shown, that they're confident with the ball at their feet.
But Andy, that's going to be one of the keys to the game, because Olympiacos will be happy to sit in. There isn't the high, intense, real energetic press from them tonight that we saw in that first game, where they really identified Konsa, who's playing at centre-half in that game. He's playing at right-back tonight, and Diego Carlos is in that position on the right of the 2 centre-halves. But when Villa lose possession, that is where the danger could be, because they're so quick on the counter-attack. The more they invite Villa on, if they can turn it over even 25 yards aside their own half, they'll get it upfield towards El Kaabi so quickly, and that's where Villa have got to be on their guard.
They have, of course they have. They've got to be very careful, but it's difficult when you've got a lead in a tie, in a 2-legged tie. You've got a lead, and the away team are showing plenty of good composure, having lots of possession. The crowd want to urge you on. They're urging you to go after Villa, to try and press and squeeze and force them into mistakes and start to act like you are with the home team. And at the moment, Olympiacos will be just a little concerned about how comfortable Villa have been in possession. Yes, they're sitting in. They don't have to be in a hurry to win the ball back. But it's never easy just sitting and waiting at home. It's always difficult because your home fans are urging you forward.
Now Torres has got the ball at the back for Villa. That time there was a press, and they played through it brilliantly. McGinn out towards Cash, and now it opens up for Aston Villa. Good ball forward from Cash. Right-hand side of the penalty area is Leon Bailey. Red and white shirts getting back very quickly. Bailey will work it back outside the penalty area, but as he drags it across the face of the box, Douglas Luiz couldn't really get there. He's done enough to rescue it and get Villa going again, but Olympiacos have got their shape back behind the ball. It's the first time Villa could work the counter. They didn't work it effectively enough.
That was a real chance, that, because they played their way out under a press, as you said, and released Matty Cash. The ball he played for Leon Bailey was a little short.
They'll come forward again, though, Villa here inside the box. It might break Bailey's way, but Rexos did well to knock it away. And now the fullback Rodinei will play it out towards the right. Long crossfield ball. Daniel Pedence is going to chase that. And the man on loan from Wolves is going to get there on the edge of the penalty area. He plays it inside the box. McGinn acrobatically throws himself at it and blocks it. Comes back for Pedence. On the left-hand side, worked in by Kinney. And stabbed it in the far post by El Kaabi. A hat-trick in Birmingham. And he breaks the deadlock 10 minutes in tonight with a tap-in. And that, I'm afraid, might be that for Aston Villa.
Wow, what a blow that is. Villa had started the game so well, really well. And yet, from nowhere really, from a turnover of possession, a switch out from right back to left wing position for Daniel Pedence, they've managed to find a really, really good goal. I'll credit Pedence. It looked like he was initially trying to cross one along the 6-yard line. That cross got blocked, and then all of a sudden he managed to just hang on to the ball, waited for support on the overlap. I think it's Kinney it is that does it, and a great cutback, and El Kaabi it is who stabs it in from about 7 yards out. Emi Martinez going from near post, scrambling to the far to try and get there. He just can't. He can't make the ground up, and El Kaabi knocks it in the back of the net, and that's a huge blow. That really is.
32nd goal of the season, one of the easiest he will score. He ran away, hands outstretched as if to say, how easy was that? And the Villa back line torn apart. They did well to get Kinney down towards the byline to pull the ball back. Pau Torres will be desperately disappointed that he wasn't in a better position to be able to cut out the cross. El Kaabi couldn't miss once the ball got to his feet, and Villa now need 3 unanswered goals in the next 78 minutes.
Just can't understand how, we didn't see it on our monitors, I just can't understand how Kinney was allowed to run all that way from a left-back position beyond Podence without anybody tracking that run of his.
Well, that must have been Matty Cash.
It should. I mean, you would have thought Matty Cash would have either seen him or maybe reacted a little late. We'll see another angle of the goal in a moment, but that's a huge blow. That really is, because again, the Villa start to this game had been bright, it had been purposeful, and that, I'm afraid, is an absolute hammer blow.
5 games in all competitions this season when they've conceded the first goal. Remember, they've got to win this by 2 inside 90 minutes to get it to extra time. In reality, they might have expected that with Olympiacos' fantastic goal-scoring record at home, they've got 64 in 26 games, that Villa came here knowing that they would need to score 3. So the only saving grace is if you're going to score, going to concede, best to do it early to get it out of the way, give yourself a little bit more time to manage the situation. It had been such a good start, but one meaningful attack from Olympiacos sees Villa further behind on aggregate. 5-2 down over the 2 legs now. Here's Javi inside the penalty area, trying to run the ball one side of Iborra and go the other, and he's ended up fouling him. And it's a free kick to Olympiacos inside their own penalty area. 13 gone, 1-0 on the night. 5-2 down, Villa on aggregate now.
Yeah. Difficult, really difficult set of circumstances. They've got to keep going, got to pick themselves up now, the Villa lads, and just keep playing and just keep believing and sincerely hope that they are able to strike back before half-time. I think that's absolutely so crucial now. That really is. Look, we're only 13 and a half minutes into the game. They've not started it poorly, but they've conceded. Really well taken goal, I must add, by Olympiacos. Clever play from Podence, who's playing off the left up front. Good overlapping run from the left-back Kini, an unmarked and unchecked overlapping run, I might add. Really good ball on the 6-yard line, and El Kaabi finishing it at the back post. But that's gonna take some coming back from now. We're now talking about this being one of the greatest comebacks in the club's history, I would think, if they turn this one around.
Need 3 goals to do it. John McGinn playing the ball back for Douglas Luiz, who's missed penalty late in the first game last week has perhaps taken on even greater significance now. The last time that Villa lost the first leg at home in Europe, they did go on to win the second leg. They went out on away goals. That was against Varaždin of Croatia back in 2001. Away goals, of course, long since abolished in European football. So Villa know that 3 goals tonight, despite the fact that would effectively be away goals disadvantage, would still take them to extra time. They'll be just as good as the 4-2 win that Olympiacos had in the second city last week. And a dream start moment for the home team. I mean, again, I wondered what sort of start they would make. They basically pretty much allowed Villa to have possession, just staying solid, waiting for that right moment to turn it over, and then look to clip it in behind that Villa back line that was quite high in that moment when the ball was switched from right to left, and it allowed Podence to get on the ball and make a good run, and they worked their goal very well, must say. Deeney gets the ball forward for Villa. David Carmo heads it back. A vital touch from him on the ball that was played in for Ollie Watkins very early in the game, and had he not made that block, it would have been a very different night unfolding. But as it is, it's Villa that have conceded the first goal. Deeney wins the throw midway inside the Olympiacos half, over on the far touchline as we look at it. Throw taken in towards John McGinn. 2 Europa League games taking place tonight, both still goalless. So that's Atalanta and Marseille 1-1 on aggregate, and Leverkusen still 2-0 up on aggregate against Roma as they look to extend their unbeaten streak in all competitions this season to a mere 49.
Incredible achievement, isn't it? That's amazing.
McGinn trying to play the ball through the midfield. It's cut out well by Tunis. He flights it forward. The Olympiacos captain wearing 7 and the Villa captain wearing 7, McGinn, is able to get his head on it. And Douglas Luiz will pick up the ball in the heart of the midfield. 16 gone, 1-0 to Olympiacos. And here's Andy Townsend.
Yeah, in possession. Villa almost playing a back 3 with Pau Torres in possession now on the halfway line. Diego Carlos and Konsa. Lucadinha and Matty Cash really aggressive advanced positions higher up the field, and that allows Diaby and Leon Bailey to get tighter, closer to Ollie Watkins to hopefully have the numbers in the box when that ball arrives.
Diego Carlos working for Douglas Luiz, who's one of 5 men in this Villa starting lineup tonight who've now played more than 50 games just for Villa this season. That's not taking their international commitments into account. The ball over on the far touchline, the Olympiacos right, turned away very neatly. Iborra will be able to pick it up and work it through the midfield for Chiquinho, who really caught the eye in the first leg last week. He gets it down towards Pedence, who will come in off the left flank. Right-footed ball clips in towards El Kaabi. Nearly got there as well, but Pau Torres comes across the sweep up. I think Villa thought that was offside, but the flag wasn't forthcoming. The player's going to restart with a throw that Kinney will take on the Olympiacos left. Kinney just waiting for a little bit of movement. When it's not forthcoming, that allows him to run a few more seconds off the clock. In it comes here towards Chiquinho after a flick. He's offside, and it's a free kick that Villa will take. 1-0 down.
Yeah, got it again for Villa. The next phase, recovering after conceding, that goal, which was such a hammer blow to them, is to try and get Bailey, Diaby and Watkins involved a little more. There's been 1 or 2 moments when they've just been on the half-turn receiving just in behind the Olympiacos midfield, and then nothing's really happened and become of it. So got to keep those forward players involved. Yes, keeping possession is key and is the way that Villa like to work it and play, but also you've got to make sure that those boys up front aren't isolated.
Emi Martinez, who once lost to Olympiacos in a Champions League tie, plays it out from the back to find Diego Carlos again. Now Ezri Konsa will take over, and Villa's slowing things down almost to a walking pace. They're trying to draw the press from Olympiacos, which is brave, bearing in mind the troubles that they had dealing with it last week. But you can understand the logic in what they're trying to do. Cash playing it back for Konsa. Villa now in opposition territory as the ball goes down for Bailey. Bailey coming in off the right flank, sends a high swirling ball inside the penalty area. Deeney can field that on the left-hand side of the box. He will try and get to the byline and work it in. So many defenders back. The ball stood no chance of getting through towards Watkins. And then Diaby loses it on the edge of the penalty area. And the counter-attack could be on for Tunis. Finding Chiquinho. Maccabi, the goal scorer, coming back. He goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. And Salakis will just hammer it high upfield. Maccabi chasing after it, but always going to be easy for Digne. He mops up to find Pau Torres. Diego Carlos plays it forward to McGinn. Takes it on the half-turn and does so quite beautifully, and then spreads the ball wide down towards Cash coming in off the right flank. And the Polish international will bring it into the heart of the midfield before dispensing with the ball towards McGinn. Cash now making a run forward, almost playing as the third striker at times when he's laid the ball off in the midfield. He'll get it again now towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got Watkins in the box. Bailey a little bit closer to him. Goes back for McGinn instead. To Konsa. Now to McGinn again. Douglas Luiz. Bailey. Cash. Watkins still waiting patiently, making a succession of starts to runs and then peeling back out when there's no service forthcoming. Cash for Konsa. Booze and whistles telling you that it's Villa in possession. Finding it relatively easy to string the passes together, but creating clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity really difficult for them in the opening 20 minutes because Salakis has had nothing to do.
No, he hasn't, no. They're just sitting in quite deep as well, Olympiacos, and I don't blame them for doing that. They have a lead on the night as well as the 2-goal cushion, so they don't need to squeeze and press and sell themselves, put themselves out the game. Villa waiting for the perfect moment to put it into the box, coming out, going wide, going back, going across, but not really threatening as of yet.
Again to Bailey, to Douglas Luiz. Thought about it, but back for Bailey, who does think about it, and his shot is deflected on the edge of the penalty area. And it comes off Kinney, who's a Juan Mata lookalike, and it just loops up into the hands of goalkeeper Salakis. who saved 3 penalties in their shootout against Fenerbahce. They, like Villa, needed spot kick shootout to get through the last round. It's a night where the official stats have Villa's possession up in the very high 70s.
Yeah, already, yeah. And it feels like that, Jim, to be honest, right from the get-go. I don't think Olympiacos have had any intent to really go and squeeze. They've done it once or twice, but in the main, particularly now since they've scored, just happy to sit in with a very, very tight block and back four closest to the halfway line, but always ready to drop. 2 central midfielders in behind them, making sure that they're going nowhere. So difficult for Villa to find those little pockets of space to get their key players involved.
Douglas Luiz has won a free kick and is just having a word with the referee inside the centre circle, who wasn't happy with Chiquinho's intervention.
Yeah, I think he's just saying there that he'd managed to ride out of the challenge from Chiquinho. He turned out, and then I think he was happy. He just wanted to keep playing. As it was, the referee stopped play because Chiquinho got a little hand in the face.
A free kick has gone Villa's way, and now taken with Cash going back inside the Villa half. Chip forward by Diego Carlos, helped on by Bailey. Cash going after it. Heze, who scored one of the goals in Birmingham last week, just trying to put a challenge in the midfield. Lucadinha is able to pick it up. He'll work it through the midfield for Jabi. Back for Douglas Luiz. Now towards McGinn. Again trying to get away from Pedence. Slides it brilliantly down the left-hand side of the area. And it was very nearly turned in for an own goal by Retsos. It was a vital interception from the defender, because had he not got there, Watkins coming in would have been able to get it in for 1-1. Well defended. Yeah,
really good ball from John McGinn for Lucadinha in that high left wing back position, in behind the Olympiacos backline. Ball across the 6-yard box, well defended at the near post, out for a corner.
Villa's 3rd corner of the night, midway through the first half. In Consa flicks it on. Diego Carlos coming in behind him, couldn't get the touch. It's clear. Goes back out for Jabi. To Douglas Luiz again. Can the Brazilian work the angle for the cross? He can't. Lays it back for Digne. He can get it in. Watkins peeling off on the backside of the penalty area with a left-footed effort which hit David Carmo and ricochets to safety. Now he comes out for Bailey. He tries his luck. That hits Chiquinho. And Fortounis is going to be able to bring it away. The counter-attack just for a moment looks as though it was on. McGinn has stopped it in its infancy. And now we'll take it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Jabi picking it up. He goes to his left-hand side for Pau Torres, who's forward to supplement the attack. Douglas Luiz in a shooting position and has tried one from 25 yards, but it's easily saved by Salakis, diving to his right-hand side. Olympiacos 1, Villa 0. 3 goals the deficit that Villa are facing on aggregate overall. And you would Talksport. Here's Andy Townsend.
Yeah, it's look, in terms of possession, in terms of strategy, I think Villa have started the night really well. But crucially, Olympiacos just punished Villa with a good turnover of possession, a quick switch, and a clever little overload down their left side, high up in the Villa penalty area, a cutback, and El Kabi knocking it into the far post. That aside, they've rarely threatened. Of course, they don't need to. They're sitting in a pretty low sort of block and just waiting for Villa. Tons of possession for my old team, but at the moment they're just desperately trying to find a way back on the night, because if they can get back on level terms before half time, then they can start again at the start of the second half.
So if you take out the fact that they've conceded the goal, has everything else about the performance been good enough for you to believe that if they keep doing things the way they're doing, the chances will come and they can get themselves back into this? I
think I've seen enough, Jim, enough in terms of the way that they've kept possession, in the way that they've managed to get people high up the field in good crossing positions. I've seen plenty in that respect.
Long diagonal, tries to get Cash away. He had to stretch to bring the ball down with his right foot. In doing that, he stopped it going out of play for a throw. The only problem was that he lost control of the ball, and Olympiacos can hammer it back upfield. It didn't stay there for long because Villa have won it back, and Diego Carlos will just be able to make his way towards the edge of the centre circle. Emery was asked in his pre-match press conference about the the victory, a famous victory that Sevilla had against Real Betis in a Seville derby 10 seasons ago. They lost the first leg 2-0 at home, went across town, won the second leg 2-0 and got through on penalties. And he said it's of absolutely no relevance for tonight whatsoever, but there are plenty of moments that we've had as a group since I came to Birmingham that we will talk about that I do believe are important for tonight, as Bailey tries to angle a header in here and it drifts wide of the far post and goes out of play for a goal kick. I don't think he was just talking Villa's prospects up for the sake of it. He did come across as believing that there was a way that Aston Villa might be able to get back into this game, having dissected everything that happened last week.
Yeah, obviously, Jim, goes without saying that he would have had a plan. And again, as I said, most facets of their game have been pretty thorough so far. Just seeing the attempts there, just 2 for Olympiacos, 6 for Villa so far. You know, they're dominating all the numbers, but the important one, the crucial one, is that Olympiacos have found a way to add to their 2-goal cushion that they had coming into it. So, again, and it's difficult at times as players in these scenarios, if you're playing in these matches and the lead is significant against you, it's difficult sometimes to keep it going. Every chance, every ball that comes into the box that doesn't get converted or doesn't look like finding its way into the back of the net starts to disappoint you.
Well, Olympiacos have lost a couple of games, even in the last 2 months, by scorelines that would take this to at least extra time. 4-1 defeat at Maccabi Tel Aviv, and a 3-1 home defeat to Panathinaikos. Scored in them both then, and conceded enough at the other end to give Villa some hope still. Here's Bailey making his way forward in the D, and he and Watkins got in each other's way.
Yeah, great ball from Pau Torres from just over the halfway line into Leon Bailey. And as you say, that first touch took him towards Ollie Watkins, and the pair of them not quite sure who's going to take the strike from the edge of the box, and unfortunately they both got in each other's way.
It's Daniel Pedence back through the midfield for the Argentinian Eze. And Rexos, now the Rodinei, the right back, going forward for Olympiacos down the right-hand touchline. Pau Torres is going to be able to mop things up for Villa and go back to his goalkeeper, Emi Martinez. Martinez quickly working it outside the penalty area for Diego Carlos. Diego Carlos, a member of the Sevilla side that won the Europa League in 2020. Pau Torres won it the following season in 2021 with Villarreal, one of the 4 that Unai Emery has won. He's reached 5 European finals in his managerial career, which is an extraordinary achievement. Still time to make it 6. Here's Bailey trying to get it in here. Jabby! The angle was tight. Salakis did well. No advantage. The play's pulled back for the foul right on the edge of the penalty area on Bailey. And it's a free kick to Villa, just a yard outside the penalty area, right in the middle. And he's down in some distress with that troublesome left knee.
Oh, yes, Leon Bailey, yeah. Got himself into a really good position. I'll tell you what, it's a bad challenge from Rodinei. It really is. He's so late getting there, and he clatters almost knee on knee. And Leon Bailey's in agony at the moment, writhing around on the surface. The ball actually just fell for Diaby, and unfortunately he couldn't finish under pressure from the goalkeeper.
Well, he's picked up a yellow card, Rodinei.
Should do for that. He should.
You just know if he was in an English dressing room would be called Dave.
Yes.
But he's in the book as Rodinei, and Bailey is still down lying on his back on the edge of the penalty area.
Well, he's got a lot of tape around that left knee, hasn't he, Leon Bailey? Jimmy has around the bottom of his thigh and just under his patella. He's got a lot of tape there, so he's got a bit of a problem, and the impact was right on it.
Yeah, hopefully that it was just an impact, but it depends on the severity of the initial problem, I guess, as to how things might unfold from here.
Yeah. Just seeing a rerun of the goal there. Kini, the left back for Olympiacos tonight, hasn't even got over the halfway line, I don't think. I think he's done it once in the game to great effect, where they had that little 2-on-1 situation. Pedence with the ball, he run beyond him, cut back, and El Kaabi finishing.
Well, Atalanta have taken the lead against Marseille. Ademola Lookman scored his 12th goal of the season. It's a 2-1 aggregate lead for the Italian side, hoping to make it to Dublin. to take on, seemingly, Bayer Leverkusen in the Europa League final. Leverkusen themselves 0-0 on the night, still 2-0 up at home to Roma. With Atalanta leading Marseille by a goal to nil. Olympiacos leading this one 1-0. Bailey has finished receiving his treatment now. He's back on his feet and will just hobble away. Doesn't have to leave the field because it was a yellow card offence that caused the problem, so he doesn't have to come off the field for the obligatory 30 seconds. Villa have had plenty of time to assess how they can make the most of this free kick.
Yeah, well, again, it's in a really good position. It's pretty much central. Just seeing the referee there putting the white chalk line down a couple of yards behind the penalty spot for the Olympiacos players to retreat to. So yeah, it's actually in the D, on the edge of the box, this, just about a yard or two off centre. So it is a good situation. Sometimes it can be a little close when the ball's there to get this one up and down. I'm not sure what the decision was, Jim, whether it was direct or indirect. We're about to find out, of course, but Olympiacos getting everyone in the wall. They've got every man back there behind the ball, trying to make sure that they've got the numbers to defend this situation.
Yeah, they've got 5 in the wall and Chiquinho lying down behind it in the draft excluded position. Douglas Luiz, Digne, McGinn and Watkins, the Brains Trust, who are standing over the ball, just assessing exactly the best way to try and take full advantage of this. Villa could get one back now, leave themselves the task of needing 2 for an hour. You just never know. I don't know that you just made the point to me, Andy, that I don't know that Leon Bailey's going to be able to continue here.
No, he's limping really badly. He's walking away. He's not involved in this free kick at all. We've got Luca Digne, Douglas Luiz, John McGinn all around the ball, Ollie Watkins. They're just trying to make sure that the Olympiacos players are staying 10 yards away from it. There's 1 or 2 that don't look like they are.
Villa have got a 3-man wall as close to the Olympiacos 5 as is allowed. It could be Digne with his left, it could be Douglas Luiz with his right. Villa need to make something happen with it. Douglas Luiz just chips it over the bar.
As I mentioned, it's too close. What they should have done there is move it a yard. Move it to one side and then you can eliminate the wall anyway. Yes, you'll have people coming out to charge it, well, you have to live with that, but if you shift it a yard, you can put your head down and really hit it. Whereas Douglas Luiz there, because he's quite close to the edge of the box, trying to get it over the wall, it's just like he just chipped it over the top. Really tame effort in the end.
Well, we made the point before the game that Aston Villa's bench is really weak in terms of experience tonight. Longley and Robin Olsen, the only players on the bench for Villa this evening who could name 13 subs, but they've only named 10. They're the only ones of the 10 that have even started 10 games for the club in their careers. In terms of forwards, they've got John Duran, who's started 9 in claret and blue. Now, they've also got Amari Kellerman, who made his Premier League debut for the last 15 minutes at Manchester City. He's a forward of the youngsters that could come on, but you would imagine it'd be Duran or Kellerman, unless they switch things around completely to accommodate any problem for Leon Bailey. But it feels as though Villa have a passenger at the moment.
Yeah, well, look, we're about 11 minutes away, just under now from half time, plus whatever time the referee wants to add on. So obviously Leon Bailey would be great if they can just get him into half time, because he is such a key player. He's so clever in those moments when Villa can beat that press and release him. He's such a danger, but only if he's right. If he's not right, then they're going to have to make that change.
McGinn, put under pressure by the press, goes back for his goalkeeper. Long ball over the top from Martinez. Watkins trying to head it on for Jabi, who's got prodigious pace, but Rodinei had enough of a head start, and he'll play it back to his goalkeeper Salakis. And then Rodinei getting the return ball, clears it upfield towards halfway. Villa win it back. The possession is still very easy to come by. It's in the 70s still. Another free kick is given for a challenge by El Kaabi. And Villa will take that on the left-hand touchline. It was Douglas Luiz, good check from him, and then El Kaabi kicked him on the Achilles.
Yeah, happy to take any free kicks that come their way, but again, the home team just happy to sit in and just shuffle from side to side and just ask Villa, what have you got? And moment Villa are just probing, going from side to side, back 10 yards if they have to get out the other side. It's just about being patient and waiting for that moment to find that really dangerous delivery.
Now Torres works at 4. Bailey just breaking into a jog for the first time since he picked up that bang to the knee. Good movement from him. Konsa back in towards Bailey again. Bailey just tried to cushion a little through ball towards Watkins, but it ran past him and goes into the hands of Salakis.
Yeah, when Villa tried to thread things through the middle, Jim, it's ever so congested in there. It's really tight. Another chance for a counter here.
Because it's not tight at the other end, with Villa keeping their high line, and so Podence has got plenty of room with which to work, and he sets up for Tunis, who struck him really sweetly with a right-footed effort. But diving to his left, Martinez can make a comfortable save.
Yeah, nice play again from Daniel Podence. Just that ball was clear. John McGinn just failed to control it. Went back to a red shirt, Iborra, in the middle of the park. Switched it out left to Podence. His ball across to the edge of the box. Found for Tunis. The shot was decent, but good save from Martinez.
Bailey picking up possession, turning in the midfield, finding Cash. Cash has won himself a free kick as he got past Keeney, and then I think it was Chiquinho came in and blocked Cash's run. So Villa have another free kick in a promising position. This one not quite a shooting area because it's right level with the right-hand edge of the box. Not too far outside the penalty area. Might be able to work something clever here.
Yeah, I'd like to see him put this in the box, Jim. I think that from these wide areas, when you get the chance to clip something in between penalty spot and edge of the box, do it. So they've got the perfect scenario here. John McGinn, Douglas Luiz, both out on this right side. It's about 10 yards in from the sideline and about 23, 24 yards out. Chance for John McGinn with the left foot to wind something towards that penalty spot.
Left-footed, he plays it into that exact area, and they got a corner nose. Diego Carlos that got the last touch. And he was flicking it on towards that far post area, but nobody coming in behind him could get there in time. It's another half-decent opportunity that comes to nothing.
Yeah, they've got some big lads defensively, Olympiacos. They've got some presence in there when it's knocked in. David Carmo there, I think, making sure that he leapt to get something on that to prevent Diego Carlos from making that all-important first contact. But I think now, with the situation as it is, I think your football has to be patient, yes, but when you get wide, when you get a chance to deliver, it's got to go in the box.
And Javi has the opportunity to do exactly that now. And he's got past his man, he pulls it back, and that is a corner as it's not by the retreating Heze. It's close to actually taking a touch off Watkins, and the fact the referee has said that that's what happened, as Heze put it out of play for what he thought was going to be a corner, just brushed off the side of Watkins' boot, and a goal kick is the decision.
Yeah, really frustrating that is for the Villa players. I'm a little more frustrated with the position Diaby got in there, because he was one-on-one backing the defender into the box, skipped past him, gets to the byline, the cutback straight to a red shirt, unfortunately. He needs to find a teammate. When you get in those dangerous positions now, they've really got to make it count.
Well, the disappointments of last week, exacerbated by what is happening in Piraeus tonight, but still could be a very successful week as far as Villa are concerned. They're going to be in the Champions League next season if Spurs lose to Burnley on Saturday. Villa fans, you can hear that game. It's not on UK TV, it is on Talksport 2. Kicks off at 3 o'clock. Spurs, Burnley, Saturday afternoon. Major ramifications for the relegation battle as well, of course. Here's Jabi on the edge of the penalty area. Back towards Watkins, he's got himself back on side. He's played in and just too far ahead of Cash, who, had he been able to slide and make contact with that, would have been able to steer it in. But instead of sliding to get there with his feet, he almost attempted a diving header and made no contact.
Oh dear, that's so close. Really good play from Villa though. Initially started from Ollie Watkins. I think he just lost his footing a little bit there, Matty Cash. Couldn't sort his feet out quick enough right at that all-important crucial moment, because the ball from Leon Bailey had beaten everybody right along the 6-yard line. And Matty Cash completely unmarked on his own, sprinted towards that area, but just clipped his own heels, I think, and dropped to the floor.
Spurs defeated Burnley on Saturday. Not the only way that Villa can cement their Champions League place. Villa victory against Liverpool on Monday will also be good enough. A draw for the pair of them likewise will see Villa finish 4th. I think the bottom line is that you go back to where they were when Unai Emery took over.
Oh, yeah.
And even the start of this season, where they had that humbling 5-1 defeat at Newcastle on the opening day. To get from there to a European semi-final and almost certainly a top 4 finish is a masterful achievement that I don't really think Unai Emery has had full credit for, when you bear in mind that he's been without Buendia for the full season, Mings for nearly all of it, Kamara's had a lengthy spell on the sidelines, so too Ramsey.
Yeah, some big players there, Jim, you mentioned. I think we're all aware of just how good a job Unai Emery has done, not only in getting results but actually laying down a pathway forward. We were talking with Hugh before the game, weren't we, about Ten Hag's inability to kind of do that at United since he's been there, really. Everyone still asks that same question about what they are. Well, we know what Villa are. They're a good possession team.
Here's El Kaabi looking to play the ball to his right-hand side for the fullback Rodinei. Digne wins it back for Villa, plays it to his goalkeeper, and then getting the return ball, he's got no option really but to let it run out of play. And it goes out for a throw which will be taken down by the corner flag. They've only had the one meaningful attack in the game. They've had another couple of shots, but other than that, Olympiacos have offered very little. They've been more than happy to sit back, be very organised, deny Villa the space. They earned the right to play that way last Thursday, I beg your pardon, at Villa Park. 2 minutes to go to half-time. Still 1-0 to Olympiacos on the night after El Kaabi's 11th minute goal. 5-2 the aggregate score here on Talksport. Rodinei with a long throw inside the penalty area. Pau Torres heads it away. For Tunis. Back for Retsos, who made just the one appearance in his time at Sheffield United. And he goes all the way back for his goalkeeper Salakis, who booms it upfield. It will bounce once and then all the way through to his opposite number, Emi Martinez. Village is struggling for a little bit of inspiration there. They've certainly been willing, but the spark's not been there.
Yeah, what's not happened is they haven't created that real outstanding chance. A lot of good football, a lot of good possession. Diaby, I think, needs to improve with end products. Leon Bailey, hopefully, is going to be okay to continue. Ollie Watkins hasn't had that chance dropped to him yet in the box. He's provided a couple of situations for one or two others.
Penence's offside. Villa thought they had a throw. They have instead got a free kick. Coming into this on the back of 2 defeats in a row after only losing 7 of the previous 34 games. I think the European experience will certainly stand them in good stead for whichever European competition they end up in next year. And I'm happy to nail McCullers to the mast and say I believe it will be the Champions League. I think that they will be able to get there. A couple of Villa fans I was speaking to earlier today feel that maybe the script is written that Villa have hit the proverbial wall that they might just miss out and finish behind Tottenham on goal difference. Ball goes out to the left-hand side for Digne. Bailey nodding it back to him. Digne bringing it on, scooping it inside the penalty area, and again, just too far ahead of Cash.
Just that
goes out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, just that final delivery there. Great football again from Villa. Good numbers in the box. Luca Digne trying to switch it from left to right. One wing back to another to Matty Cash, and just overhits it. It skips out for a goal kick. I don't think Unai Emery is going to be critical of his players at half-time. I think he's just going to say, you've got to keep going, and if we get one, I think we can get another one. And then if you get that second, then anything can happen. But they've not done a lot wrong. They've just got caught on a turnover, really. Olympiacos punished them very well, I must say. But really, everything other than that has all been from Aston Villa.
We're into 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Carby goes to ground. He was offside anyway. And he's just rubbing his knee. He's going to be okay. He should be fit enough to continue. Villa starting the night needing to win by 2 goals away from home to get through to extra time. Same situation for Roma. away to Bayer Leverkusen. They've taken the lead. Leandro Paredes has scored that goal from the penalty spot just a couple of minutes before half-time. In 45 minutes of ill discipline, there have been 5 players booked in the first half of that. Remember, Leverkusen unbeaten in all competitions all season. They've won 9 out of 10, where they... am I remembering it right from earlier that we were told they were 100-1 on to qualify for the final? Well, they find themselves a goal down on the night, still 2-1 up on aggregate, but they're so desperate to get through this season with an invincible record in all competitions, which would be simply extraordinary.
Yeah, breathtaking effort that would be, but they've got their hands full now tonight, certainly, so they've got to manage that situation first.
They came back from a worse position much later, earlier in the European run against Karabakh. They'll still be confident of being able to get a positive result there tonight. They've scored a couple of very late stoppage time goals to keep the unbeaten run going in recent weeks. Here's Cash trying to get it forward for Villa, but with a great degree of confidence, maybe. Heze and then Podence will be able to clear it and knock it upfield. But back it comes from Villa again. Yeah,
I just think there Matty Cash had a chance to put it in the box. You know, he's playing a bit further forward, not natural for him. Usually he's coming on to things. He's played enough times as a kind of right midfielder this season, but it's not what he's best at. He likes to gallop beyond someone and then get put in and get stretched to the byline.
Douglas Luiz trying to slide the ball forward, missed Watkins. It's cleared. Bailey, who looks okay actually the last 4 or 5 minutes, gets it forward towards Watkins. Now McGinn, and he'll play it outwards to the left-hand side for Digne. First time ball in from him. Watkins flicking it on. A defensive header from David Carmo steered it away. But Jabi's going to be able to pick it up on the right-hand touchline. He plays it back for Ezri Konsa. Douglas Luiz is 15 outside the penalty area. Chips inside the box and Fortounis heads clear. Goes back out to the Villa left. There will come again. Next phase of play. Luca Digne onto his favoured left foot, finding David Luiz in the middle. We've got a minute of the first half to go. 1-0 Villa trail. Konsa back out for Jabi. To Douglas Luiz again. What they would give for a goal late in the first half like they got last week. Jabi, resisting the temptation to try and take his man on, just crossed it in, it hits Podence and goes out of play for a Villa throw.
Again, Diaby there, get beyond Podence, take him on. Looking for the easy option, dropping back on his left foot and going back to a midfield player. He's got to make more for his team. He's got to get beyond his man and try and provide a cross or two.
Konsa takes the throw. McGinn, left footed shot comes in. Well saved Salakis. He was able to bundle it away and get it over the bar. Really well struck by Bailey with ferocity from about 25 yards out. Salakis making his most difficult save of the night so far. It actually took a little deflection of Rodinei on its way through, and Villa get a corner right at the end of this first half.
Yeah, really good strike from Leon Bailey. That would have been lovely had that deflection. I've seen it whistle past the goalkeeper. As it is, another corner.
And this will be the last action of the first 45 minutes. Villa looking to equalise on the night. Bailey taking it, sweeping it in. Heads going up for it. Diego Carlos was there. It's cleared outside the box for Douglas Luiz. Back out towards Digne. 4 minutes are up. Crowd letting the referee know that is the case. And then Villa give a free kick away, and Douglas Luiz boots the ball away in his frustration. And he's going to get a yellow card.
Yeah, again, that's what happens, you see. He's just lost his cool there, Douglas Luiz. The ball come out to him wide. Right, he had his boots right on the touchline on the far side. Gets the ball from Luca Digne, chops back on his right foot, but Fortounis read it, steps in between him and the ball, and then Douglas Luiz sort of drags him to the floor. Referee gives the free kick, and out of frustration he hoofs it away and gets a yellow card. I wonder, Jim, just about a change at half-time now for Villa. Maybe John Duran, purely in terms of just giving another dimension up front.
Well, they need to do something. We've got to half-time, and the 2-goal deficit has become a 3-goal deficit. Almost inevitably. It's El Kaabi again, the Moroccan Cobra that has the sting to give Olympiacos the lead on the night. They're 5-2 up on aggregate, and Villa need 3 unanswered goals in the next 45 minutes to get this to extra time.
Jim, thank you. Aston Villa heading towards a hugely disappointing European exit, barring something rather sensational in the second half. Fingers crossed we can get that. They started brightly. Despite going behind, they've really grown into the game, and you wouldn't put it against them getting something out of it, avoiding defeat, maybe even winning the game. But will it be the 2-goal win that they need to take it to extra time? It's kitchen sink time, I think. Andy Townsend, it was positive. It was a positive start. They've had good possession. The first goal, all important, and it went to the man that scored a hat-trick at Villa Park last week, Ayoub El Kaabi, a 33rd of the season in all competitions for the Moroccan, and that has really changed the complexion of things.
It's changed it massively, Hugh. I think the way that Villa have gone about it has been the right way. Good composure, taking the sting out of the tie, trying to just quieten and deaden the atmosphere. Difficult, because obviously you can imagine what the atmosphere is like there tonight. But I thought they started the game very well. Always looked the more progressive, always looked the more likely, and then just got caught napping a little bit. The ball got turned over. The back three was right up close to the halfway line. A ball from right back to left wing to Podence. Good overlapping run from Keeney. I don't know where Matty Cash was. Certainly wasn't tracking the run. But Keeney gets to the byline, cuts back, and El Kaabi at the back post just stabs it in first time, and Martinez can't scramble across the line to stop it. So a huge blow, massive blow. It's an incredibly tough situation they find themselves in, but they've been playing okay. They really have.
Absolutely, they've had 75% possession in the game, rather remarkable away from home. 9 attempts at goal to Olympiacos' 3, only 2 on target at the moment so far from Aston Villa, which is really where they need to improve. And you mentioned John Duran as a possibility coming on at half-time. I tend to agree with you. As I said a moment ago, it is kitchen sink time.
Yeah.
What that would do to the dynamics of Unai Emery's tactics, I'm not quite sure, and the approach, because they've tried to play through the middle. That's not working. They tried to play round them. Hasn't worked as well either, but maybe that makes it easier if you've got bodies in the box to worry about. Get it wide, get it in, see if we can cause some havoc.
I think the delivery at the moment, when it comes into Ollie Watkins, when he's surrounded by some really big guys back there in Retsos and David Carmo, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be almost right on his head. I think when you've got someone like John Duran, then all of a sudden Ollie Watkins can come alive at what might drop, what might fall, what might just bounce around, bobble around in and around that penalty spot 6-yard area. So at some point, I would think that John Duran, because of the lack of options in many ways that Unai Emery has on the bench, at some point that's going to happen, whether it's at half-time. Personally, I think that the situation they find themselves in, Hugh, I would do it now. I don't think Diaby's been that great. I think, again, he's been a source of frustration. He gets into good areas and rarely seems to be able to find a teammate or produce a ball of any real quality. So I would personally do it now. I'd get him on and see where it goes from there.
Finally, mentality, absolutely key. We saw Douglas Luiz just get booked for a little bit of frustration, kicking the ball away just before half-time. Villa have to keep their heads here.
Of course they do. I mean, it goes without saying that, and it's easy to get frustrated. You know, I've done it. I've been in that scenario myself in matches, two-legged matches like this, European matches where it's not quite going your way and it's not quite happening for you, and you can easily lose your rag and find Douglas Luiz can find on a yellow card, he can get his marching orders. That would be a great shame. Hopefully they'll find a way to get something to register in that first 10 minutes, and then again anything can happen. It really can. You know, this Olympiacos team, if they were placed under any real pressure, I'm telling you they would wobble, but at the moment there's no real panic for them.
I still believe. Fingers crossed, Villa fans, for a massive second half. That's your former captain, Andy Townsend, who will be back with Jim Proudfoot very, very shortly for the second half. Just to let you know, elsewhere this evening, Atalanta lead Marseille by 1-0 in the Europa League semi-final second leg. Atalanta 2-1 up on aggregate by Leverkusen. Could it be their first defeat of the season? They are 1-0 down at home to Roma, but they still lead 2-1 in the tie. And here in the Conference League at the break, Olympiacos a goal up by Aston Villa, 5-2 ahead on aggregate. One game in Super League this evening at the break. Warrington lead Hull KR by 18 points to 4. Let's get the halftime odds on Talksport with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
So in our game where Olympiacos lead by a goal, for them to go on to win is 8-13 with Ladbrokes. The draw now 12-5. Very possible. And even an Aston Villa win could happen. They are 4-1. Those are the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Well, Aston Villa have been diligent in their task so far, but they haven't really been dynamic enough, and they need something special. Ayoub El Kaabi putting another dagger in the hearts of the Villa fans. As it stands, Olympiacos are on their way to their first ever European final. They lead 1-0 on the night. On aggregate, it's a whopping 5-2 lead, but don't go away, because we could get something very special here tonight.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Switch to EE's ultra-reliable full-fiber broadband for only $29.99 a month and pay absolutely nothing up front.
What? Nothing?
Not a thing. Plus, it stays fast
even at peak times.
And it's powered by BT.
Bingo! All on the UK's most reliable broadband technology.
That's epic.
No wonder broadband switchers choose EE. Hurry, offer ends 16th of May.
New customers, 24 months, 43.7% UK availability. Terms apply. Price increases on 31st of March each year by £3 a month.
Get the KFC 20 Hot Wings bucket for just $7.99. You heard right, that's just 40p per wing. A serious sized bucket for a seriously small price. The 20 Hot Wings bucket deal for just $7.99. Do the deal until the 9th of June, only at KFC. Available until the 9th of June 2024, subject to availability. Participating restaurants only. See website for full T's and C's.
Don't know where to start your next paint project? At Wix. Find all the inspiration and help you'll need. Plus, Dulux standard 2.5 litre coloured emulsion was £21, now $15. Terms apply.
So you're Betty, the famous talking parrot?
Ah, yes, mate. Check out Talksport Bet Broadcast Boost. This Saturday, Fulham versus Manchester City. Manchester City to win both halves and Erling Haaland to score 2 or more goals. Current price 19-5. Broadcast boosting price 9-2.
Amazing. I can see why you're called Betty.
You bet.
For this and other unrepeatable odds, visit TalksportBet.com. Cheeky beaky broadcaster. Bring it on, bookie.
Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. GambleAware.org.
Let me just throw this idea at you. You may have paid too much tax. If you've spent money on tools, travel or food for work, Rift can help work out what you're owed and get a refund bouncing back to you. In fact, on average, Rift get their customers $3,000 back. Not bad, eh? Let's get the ball rolling. Search Rift Tax Refunds.
I'm like a rubber ball, like a bouncing.
Come on, search Rift Tax Refunds today.
Meet Sasha, a woman with impeccable style. But even the most fashionable amongst us can face fashion frustration.
So many clothes, but nothing to wear.
By selling something on eBay, there's still hope for Sasha.
Nice.
Sell the clothes you don't wear to buy the ones you will.
Birthday fit sorted.
It's now free to sell your pre-owned clothes on eBay, so you'll never have nothing to wear again. Conditions apply.
And you join us here for the call all kinds of fans chase. And they're off. And it's Top Hat and Tails taking an early lead, followed by the bloke who's really done his homework. And here come the ladies in enormous hats. Magnificent. But it's the guy who's not sure which jockey's colours are his, who's out in front. And yes, he's won. His mates are telling him now he doesn't believe them. Classic.
Whatever kind of racing fan you are, don't miss the Coral Daily Download every Saturday and Sunday morning on Talksport with Coral. We're here for it. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Europa Conference League live on Talksport with Village Hotels. With 33 locations across the UK, Village Hotels have everything under one roof for a great breakaway.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave, online, on your mobile and on your smart speaker. Talksport.
Acrobatically throws himself at it and blocks it. Comes back for Fidence on the left-hand side, worked in by Kinney and stabbed it at the far post by El Kaabi. hat-trick in Birmingham, and he breaks the deadlock 10 minutes in tonight with a tap-in. And that, I'm afraid, might be that for Aston Villa.
Well, the mountain to climb for Aston Villa tonight out in Greece has got even bigger, because at the break they trail Olympiacos by 1-0. They are 5-2 down on aggregate, but if they can find 3 goals in the second half and keep a clean sheet in the next 45 minutes, they will take the game to extra time. So it will require something pretty special, but stranger things have happened. Stay with us here on Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org. And remember, we have a host of live football coming for you over the next few weeks, but certainly this weekend as well. At Doncaster against Crewe tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, exclusively live on Talksport 2, the League 2 playoff semi-final, second leg. On Saturday, we'll return to Premier League action here on Talksport. Exclusively, we'll be at Craven Cottage at lunchtime as Fulham host Manchester City. City can move to the top of the Premier League table. Game Day Live will follow at 2:30 with Adrian Durham, Danny Mills, Mickey Gray and Perry Groves alongside him. Over on Talksport 2, we'll have Burnley's trip to Spurs. That is exclusively live on Talksport 2, and it is not on UK TV. And 7:45 on Saturday night, MK Dons against Crawley. That is also a League 2 playoff semi-final, second leg. Plenty of big games on Sunday, exclusively live here on TalkSport. We will have both of the first legs from the Championship playoffs. Norwich taking on Leeds United is a midday kickoff to see if Daniel Farke's side can get back to form and get a very important victory before they head to Ellen Road to keep themselves on track for a place in the Premier League, or will the disappointment of finishing third be the curse for them, as it has been for so many teams? And by the way, they hate the playoffs, Leeds United, so we'll see if it's a very different campaign this time around. At 2:15, West Brom take on Southampton here on TalkSport. And at 2:30 on TalkSport 2, we will have the Women's FA Cup final between Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United. So a very big day on Sunday across the TalkSport network. Let's look ahead to the second half and head back to speak to the former Aston Villa captain, Andy Townsend. I know you mentioned you would want to play John Duran and make that change right at half-time. And I mentioned to you maybe how that would change the tactics. I know you said you would take possibly Diaby off. Is there any other way you think Aston Villa may change their shape here to get more bodies forward? Do we think we could see 3 at the back, for example, wing backs? What could they do? Well, we've had that, Hugh. We have had 3 at the back, really, when Villa have had possession, and Cash and Dina have been really high and wide. Okay. So we've seen enough of that. We've seen enough that Villa can get into wide areas and get something in the box. But at the moment, Retsos, David Carmo, Iborra from the central midfield position, those guys, Rodinei as well, is also a big, powerful lad. Those guys are able to pretty much deal with whatever's coming into the box. I think they need something a little more significant in there. Now, look, Villa are at that point now where it's all or nothing to me, and I think if it was still 2, I could understand perhaps Unai Emery thinking, I'll just see what's going to go on for 10 or 15 minutes. But because it's 3, it's like, look, it just sends out the message that we're going to have a real go here to try and make something happen. We need to put it in the box at every opportunity. Yeah, you play your football. Yes, you keep it in the middle of the park. But when it goes wide, half a yard, deliver it. Whip it in. Get it in there. Get some bodies in and around it. Get Watkins running off of a bigger guy to maybe just anticipate where that's going to drop. I know you've witnessed some special nights as an Aston Villa player, but also, of course, watching them in the years since you represented the club so proudly. If they can turn things around here, if they can come back, where would that rank amongst the nights that you've experienced? Look, it would rank right up there. It would be such an incredible turnaround. It really would. It's going to take some doing, Hugh. First and foremost, let's try and get one on the board. Let's see if Villa can just find something to get themselves back on level terms on the night. I would have hoped to see a little bit more from the likes of Ollie Watkins. What have you made of his performance? Again, closely marshalled. Whenever that ball's come into the box, he's had a couple of big lads, big centre-halves, very, very close to him. Again, worked hard and has looked decent. And one little potential header at the near post he might have done a bit better with.
but hasn't really had that brilliant opportunity yet to really make it count.
Right, the players are back out there for the second half. I have not given up on this. Villa fans, keep the faith. Let's see if your players can deliver something which would live long in the memory. A mountain to climb, as we say. Olympiacos 1, Aston Villa 0, 5-2 on aggregate. The second half live on Talksport with the former Aston Villa captain Andy Townsend and Jim Proudfoot.
Hugh, thank you very much indeed. So, 45 minutes for Aston Villa to score 3 unanswered goals. But Olympiacos' home record this season in the biggest games has not been great. They've lost at home to each of the top 3 in the Greek league. They have had a 4-1 home defeat in Europe over the course of this season. It's just a question of whether Villa can do themselves justice over the 45 minutes that remain. So we're back underway. Olympiacos in their red and white striped shirts are kicking from left to right in this second half. Villa immediately defending and setting up, Andy, seemingly with much more of an orthodox back 3 in the second half, potentially.
Yeah. Well, look, it might be. We'll see. We'll see exactly how it pans out. Again, as I said, they've switched quite nicely from a 3 to a 4 when they're in possession and they're out of possession. But we'll have a look. We'll keep an eye on that shape.
The ball comes inside the penalty area and Heze knocks it further clear. Now Aston Villa trying to release Ollie Watkins, just given a shove there by Carmo, and the referee says no foul.
Come on, that has to be a foul. Carmo's just bundled Ollie Watkins to the floor. It's a typical Ollie Watkins run, actually, down into the channel, where he was favourite actually to get there first. And Carmo like leans into him really heavily, and I think that's a free kick, and he didn't get it.
Well, that was much more than just going shoulder to shoulder. Now Olympiacos working a long ball over the top of this high Villa back line. El Kaabi has scored 4 goals in the tie. It's his 14 he scored in Europe this season. Laying it back for Iborra. As Atalanta go 2 up at home to Marseille on the night, and 3-1 up on aggregate with Jerry with the latest of them. So as things stand right now, it will be an Atalanta against Bayer Leverkusen final. It's also in the Conference League. It's going to be Fiorentina against Olympiacos final. As things stand right now, Villa have got 43 minutes to do something about that, with Martinez having the ball at his feet inside the penalty area now. Takes it towards the penalty spot, stops, checks, goes back out towards the right-hand side, and now they play for them again.
Yeah, and they're able to pick their passes at the back. There's no threat, no pressure, no squeeze at all from Olympiacos. They're hoping to just squeeze as the ball goes further forward like that, like they just did there. But again, this time it's Leon Bailey once again on the receiving end of a challenge that was a little bit too heavy.
There was Iborra that came in from the left-hand side. It might actually have been Retsos that caught him from behind. But the free kick has gone Villa's way. No changes made by either side ahead of the second half. I'll run through the 2 lineups for you in a moment. Villa then with this free kick, which John McGinn stands over. Douglas Luiz is there as well. It's McGinn just clipping it inside the penalty area, and the bounce too hot for Cash, who came to meet it, and it bounced straight over his head, almost vertically right back up in the air once it had landed, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. Villa lining up Martinez in goal. It's Cash, Konsa, Diego Carlos, Torres and Digne, and Bailey, McGinn, Douglas Luiz and Jabi, with Watkins up top. Olympiacos, Salakis in goal, Ronay, Retsos, David Carmo and Kinney, Heze and Iborra, Fortunis, Chiquinho, Pedence and El Kaabi. Olympiacos defending so narrow as a back 4, but the Villa just haven't been able to make the most of any width whatsoever. Jabi to Cash, who will try and do so now. Taking on Kinney, who's just stood in his way. Cash goes to ground, looking imploringly at the referee. He didn't give the Watkins one, he isn't going to give that.
No, again, that time Cash just walking it up to Kinney, the left back, and just allowed himself to get a little too close, a little too tight. As I mentioned earlier, Cash usually galloping on the overlap and then being fed towards the byline to cross and to deliver. But he's playing as in kind of in that high right wing back position, And he's getting the ball out to his feet, but yet to really get beyond the left back and deliver anything significant. Got to try and do that.
Aston Villa next in action on Monday night. They take on Liverpool. They might already have a top 4 finish secured by then. That Villa-Liverpool game live for you on Talksport Monday night. And they'll have a top 4 finish secured if Spurs lose to Burnley. That's 3 o'clock Saturday. That one also live and exclusively on Talksport 2. Villa bringing the ball forward. Jabi to Cash. Now back towards McGinn. Bailey on the edge of the penalty area. Ball in from him. Watkins with the header. Keeper had it covered. It's a foot over the bar.
Good play. Good patient football. In the end, Leon Bailey just clips one up. Ollie Watkins just about a yard off the penalty spot. Slap bang in the middle of the goal, but the ball is kind of coming at him from behind him. Really difficult. No real pace on that delivery from Leon Bailey. Really hard to make anything significant of that. Gets his head on it, but unfortunately it just sails over the bar. Very similar to what we saw at the start of the night. Villa on the front foot, asking the questions, but yet to find that real situation at the top of the field.
Now Dini's just picked up a bang to the face that was inflicted by one of his teammates accidentally. And Olympiacos will be able to play the ball forward in behind him. He's back on his feet and recovered back in position, but Fortounis still has it for Olympiacos. 5.5 minutes gone in the second half. Fortounis with a left-footed effort. Martinez can make a comfortable save, diving to his left. Clock ticking down pretty quickly though. 40 minutes now for Villa to score the 3 goals that will take this to extra time.
Yeah, Fortounis there cutting in off the right side along the 18-yard line on his left foot. Doesn't really hit it. Comfortable save for Emi Martinez, but those raids, those little chances and situations for the home team, very few and far between.
Listen, things happen. Even this week, Tuesday night was at Bolton for a thrilling League One playoff semi-final, and Barnsley started the second half in the same position that Villa are in now. 3 down on aggregate, seemingly down and out. Looked as though the last 45 minutes was just going to be a Bolton celebration. Barnsley got 2 back and left themselves with 15 minutes to score the third, which in the end ultimately wasn't forthcoming. But Villa aren't out of this yet. Clearly, they need the first of the 3 to come relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Martinez getting it out towards Pau Torres. Too far outside the penalty area. We've got all of the playoffs coming up for you on the Talksport network over the course of the next week or so. We already know what the League One final is going to be, and that will be a week on Saturday as Oxford take on Bolton. League 2, the semi-final second leg tomorrow night as Doncaster can take a 2-0 lead in their match at home to Crewe. That one's live on Talksport 2 tomorrow evening. The second leg of the MK Dons Crawley tie Saturday night on Talksport 2 at 7:45. It was a game that was supposed to be taking place tonight, but got delayed to Saturday after the first leg was postponed. Here's Jabi, played forward by the Villa number 19, but he's lost it. And it's been won back by Olympiacos. Now good strong footing. Bailey can bring it away. Bailey playing it through the midfield for Watkins. A bit more space for McGinn. He's got Cash making a good run forward to his right-hand side. That's a cynical foul by Daniel Pedence. Yellow card for him. He turns, takes the yellow card in good grace and then berates the rest of his teammates that put him in a position that Pedence was forced to trip McGinn.
Yeah. Well, they're going to do that. They're not going to allow Villa to get away from him. Good turn from John McGinn, travelling at speed across the halfway line. Just lifting his head, about to slot a ball maybe for Bailey or Watkins. Pedence just brutally upends him, gets the yellow card, but they're happy to do that.
The 10th yellow card of the season for him. And then Villa, from the resulting free kick, effectively pass it straight out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Olympiacos left. It wasn't quite as bad as that, but pass is just going astray. And you sense that self-confidence is a commodity in short supply at the moment for Aston Villa. Ball picked up by Pedence on the left-hand touchline. The referee's spotted an infringement. It just got out of play, maybe? Yes, it had. Off Chiquinho for a throw that Villa will take. 9 gone second half, still 1-0 Olympiacos.
What I would say, Jim, one thing that happens when you play a productive build-up like Villa tend to, good chance here. We'll just see where this goes.
As Cash plays it down the line and the ball sails inside the penalty area. I think it was a miss-hit cross rather than a shot. It was certainly more effective as a shot. Salakis had to take a couple of quick steps back, but his handling was a shot.
Yeah, DRB it was with that cross. Again, not good enough. What I was going to say, when they play that productive build-up the way that they do, Villa, the game rarely gets stretched. Olympiacos can allow Villa to have the ball, stay compact. Sometimes when you go back to front, you go a bit longer, then all of a sudden midfield players have got ground to catch up, and the game can become a little bit more open. There's a bit more room sometimes when Villa are prepared to go a little more direct. That's why I think the introduction of Duran might be a useful one for them, because it just enables you to go a bit longer. I know there's always the worry that you start giving the ball away and you start knocking it 50, 60 yards and it's all hit and miss stuff. I get that, but I just think at the moment they could do with another dimension to what they're doing, Villa.
Well, they just need to mix it up, because at the moment it's not working.
It's not.
You've got to go down punching and just try something different. As they say about madness, it's just carrying on doing exactly the same thing and expecting a different result.
Yeah. You know, they're working hard, they got most of the ball, they've been allowed, the guys at the back are under no pressure. Pau Torres, Diego Carlos, none of them. In fact, there's a mistake there from Esri Consta, thrown into McGinn, and Pedence is busy as ever. Remember him in a Wolves shirt, exactly the same there as what we've seen from them tonight.
55 on the clock, 5-2 Olympiacos, the aggregate score. Principal damage done at Villa Park this time last week, with the fight back late in the game after Villa got back from 2-0 down to 2-2. But the fact that they managed to score 2 quick goals last week will just give them a little bit of encouragement. 2 quick goals here will go down well. They need 3. They've got 35 minutes to score them. You're listening to Olympiacos against Villa in the Europa Conference League live on Talksport with Village Hotels. Visit villagehotels.com. And here's Carlos on the edge of his own penalty area. Back to Martinez, out to Pau Torres. Torres edging it down the line for Digne. Pau Torres taking it on again. Away from the first couple of challenges in the press. Ball forward towards Bailey. Bailey to Digne. Better from Villa as they make their way forward. And Duran, right on cue, is going to be coming on in a moment for Villa. Here's Carlos. To Javi. Out towards the right-hand side for Cash. Cash flicking it on. Couldn't get past Iborra. And Pedence will take it down towards the left-hand touchline, and he is then fouled by Consa. So, is it going to be Cash that comes on?
Yeah, I think it might be Matty Cash, I do. He's struggled a little bit in that wide right, higher position that, you know, it doesn't always benefit him. I don't think that's his best role. Hasn't really delivered anything of any note. Maybe Diaby might profit from a little bit more room and get Duran up the middle and Watkins and Bailey off him. No, it's Diaby by the looks.
Well, that is a surprise, because if they were going to take a winger off, you'd have thought it would have been Bailey, bearing in mind that he picked up that bad knock to his left knee. I know he looks all right, but even so. So Diaby off, and Jean Duran is on. A player who has scored 3 goals as a substitute this season. 1 of those in Europe against Ajax. He also netted against Everton and Palace when he came off the bench. El Kaabi chasing here, but Martinez is able to jump high, hands above his head to bring the ball down. Now a chance for Duran to make himself an Aston Villa hero.
Yeah, he's got to be busy, and he's got to pressurise Retsos and David Carmo. He's got to make sure that anything that's knocked up in the air towards those guys, and they've had the better of all of that coming in against Watkins. Well, that's got to change with John Duran on the field now. He's got to attack things in the air.
Again, sending it forward, out towards the Aston Villa left. Digne was waiting. Fortounis did really well, travelled a long way, got his head to it, and won it back for Olympiacos. Now continues his run forward with experienced Greek international winger, volleys it back infield and straight to Diego Carlos. So an opportunity for Pau Torres to bring it forward. And the Spaniard down the left-hand touchline finds Digne. Digne dragging it back infield, in behind Duran, and straight to Heze. And now Pedence, the smallest man on the pitch, will bring it forward. And a chance on the left-hand side for El Kaabi to make something happen. His ball back in, just too far ahead of Heze. They'll recycle into Fortunis on the edge of the penalty area. Right-footed shot hits Pau Torres. Then Iborra down towards Heze again on the Olympiacos right. And that gone in, it was lights out Aston Villa, but they just about live to fight another day.
They do. I don't mind it actually when Olympiacos really start to attack, because now look, there's space for Villa to counter.
And Duran trying to make the most of it. Bailey square to his right hand side. Duran goes for goal. Keeper spilt it, but coming back, David Carmo is the quickest to react and heads it behind for a corner.
Yeah, listen, only just come on the field, John Duran. Hardly got his second win yet. Decent switch out to him. He's wide left, cuts in towards the edge of the 18-yard box, steps a yard in the box, hits it, kind of toe ends it really, straight towards the goalkeeper, comfortably safe, but out for another corner.
An hour gone, first quarter of the second half. Villa's fifth of the night without reply. Douglas Luiz to take it from the left-hand side. Be a right-footed in-swinger. Pau Torres is forward inside the 6-yard box, standing in front of the goalkeeper Salakis. Everybody else making runs in from deeper. Works short towards McGinn, changing the angle on the edge of the penalty area. Lays it back for Digne. Clipped in left-footed, poor delivery, easily headed away. Villa will be able to win the seconds, but they're back on halfway when they do so. Oh, McGinn stumbles, he's got away with it. He fell over, but just got back on his feet in time to stop Chiquinho having the opportunity to basically run unmarked from halfway to the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah. Just a heart-in-mouth moment there for John McGinn, thankfully okay.
Villa working it down towards the right side of the area for Cash. Another corner. Well blocked by Iborra, who then acts as the cheerleader, urging the crowd to find some volume. Better run from Cash. Another corner for Villa.
But again, really good run from Cash. Excellent work. But having got there, he allows that cross to get blocked. Stand it up, clip it up, beat that first man. Provide that little bit of class and quality that's required now.
Villa looking for an equaliser on the night. It's a starting point for their recovery. Konsa with the header. It's over the bar.
Too much on it. Good ball in from Leon Bailey. Entry Konsa just in towards the near post area. 4 or 5 yards out. Good leap. Miles above everybody else. But he gets far too much on it and powers it high and miles over the top.
Yeah, headed it up rather than heading it downwards. 13 attempts to 5 now for Aston Villa, but the bottom line is not too many of those 13 have really worked Salakis.
No, they haven't, Jim, you're right. They haven't. You know, the goalkeeper actually, despite those 13 attempts, has been pretty comfortable.
Olympiacos work it forward now. Don't get too far. Digne winning it back.
What a ball
over the top. Watkins taking it down. A goalkeeper came out and got himself stranded. David Carmo swept up in front of him, knocked it away from the goalkeeper. Clearance then from the left back only falls for Cash. Cash just telegraphed the ball forward down towards Bailey. And it was so easily read. Now Olympiacos are there on the counter-attack. El Kaabi getting it forward. Attacking the edge of the penalty area, but faced up by Diego Carlos. It was a great ball from the back for Villa to find Watkins, but he just couldn't get there. It was really close.
Yeah.
6 inches in it.
Very, very close. Olympiacos coming forward now down their right side.
Rodney. Fortunis. El Kaabi waiting. The defending just good enough. Offside flag up anyway. I think that's the 4th time he's been caught offside tonight.
Yeah. Just had a little 2-on-1 down the right side. Decent ball coming in from Fortunis. El Kaabi's a yard offside, standing there. Didn't even try to get back onside.
Well, Daniel Podence is going to be coming off here for Olympiacos. So that's their first change. And he's going to be replaced by Masouras, who's won 41 caps for Greece. He missed the first leg through suspension. He's a right winger ordinarily, so it'll be interesting to see who plays on the left, whether they switch for Tunis round or whether Masouras will go out there. Masouras has got 9 goals this season in 48 appearances and more than 50 in 250 games for Olympiacos. Good player to be able to bring off the bench.
Yeah. Daniel Podence, lively, as always, produced the only real bit of quality that we've seen from the home team tonight, and how important it was for them. Really good play from him, actually, for the goal.
Now the ball is played forward, and the flag does come up against Watkins. He knew it. As he try to control the ball. There was already a surreptitious glance over his shoulder to see whether the flag was coming up or not. So he knew he'd gone a little bit too early. He was unlucky with the previous one that he was able to control, but he just couldn't kill the ball dead, which is what he needed to do. And as the ball bounced 6 inches away from him off his right foot, it just allowed the opportunity for David Carmo to come in and scythe it away. Olympiacos now work it forward at the other end. The shot that takes a deflection goes into the hands of Martinez. Now we played 19 minutes of the second half, and it's still Olympiacos 1, Aston Villa 0. It's been that way now for the thick end of an hour. 11th winning goal from El Kaabi, the one that is going to be breaking Villa's hearts.
Got to keep more tempo in the game, Villa. They have. It's all well and good keeping possession now, but the game's got to become a little more stretched. I think every time Villa take a touch and a square pass, they'll allow Olympiacos to get back, to recover, to stay solid, and to be difficult to break down. The game's got to become a little more stretched. There's got to be more turnovers in the game. Maybe that they afford them a little bit more room to play in at times, but I think there's got to be more risk now involved for Villa.
Well, they're going to take a man out of the back five. Diego Carlos off, and Tim Irabunum has come on to replace him. Irabunum, who's played in 3 of the knockout ties. We've seen much more action as a substitute than as a starter, as you would expect, as a player who's still only 21, had a really good loan spell at QPR last season. Long throw inside the Olympiacos penalty area. David Carmo climbs high and heads it away. First touch from Irabunum to go back for Consa. So he is now playing at centre-half in a 4, alongside Pau Torres. Cash as a more conventional right-back, although will still be given plenty of licence to bomb on, as will Luca Digne on the left. Yeah,
because I think you've got Douglas Luiz and McGinn can sit, and Irabunum now. So those wide players, Cash and Digne, can still fly.
And Cash is played in by Irabunum on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Bailey trying to make something out of nothing after it was flicked on. It's cleared by Kinney, and then Consa is battling, and he's pulled El Kaabi down. He's saying that there is no foul, and the referee's agreed with him.
Yeah, I think El Kaabi was ever so cute there. Got himself in a really good situation. Just got the wrong side of Ezri Konsa, hit the floor, and the referee just waved play on. I think that's a good call.
Well, there was another covering defender, so it wouldn't have been a red card for denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. We're just having a look at a replay now. Yeah, he's done well, El Kaabi, because he got in goal side, then he put the brakes on to make sure that the contact was inevitable. Consa was doing his best to get his hands out of the way to plead mitigation as it was all ongoing, and the referee made a really good call.
Need more shots, Villa. They haven't had enough shots, have we, from edge of the box. 1 or 2 first half. Bailey had a good strike that was easily saved. Need more shots, more crosses. They're going to make anything at this time, because the clock is gradually now ticking away. Time is going. So you've got to start. Not abandoning your principles, but you've got to start to try and find other ways, other solutions, in order to try and just get a goal on the board.
Kinney has been booked for a foul on Ollie Watkins as he was climbing high, led with... I was going to say led with his arm. It was almost leading with his fist, but he did catch Ollie Watkins, who's back on his feet okay. We're midway through the second half. Villa still need 3. Time fast running out. Douglas Luiz swinging a free kick in, and it's headed by one of the defenders back towards his own goal, and Salakis can make an easy save.
Yep, to his credit there, Ollie Watkins. There was an arm in his face. He didn't make a meal of it, bounced back up on his feet, and that's because of the way that the game is.
And now the ball is played over the top of the other end, and Emi Martinez comes out, and play stops because Martinez is down hurt. The player that he's collided with is down hurt as well. The referee has given a... Has he given a free kick Villa's way?
Yeah, I think an offside flag has gone up, Jim.
Against Masouras.
Yeah, well, it was Masouras that was running through to a ball, and Emi Martinez was 30 yards outside of his box. And there was Masouras is just offside at the top of the screen. And there's a real coming together. Martinez's foot is really high. And I think he actually does make good contact with the ball, in all fairness to him. But the foot is so high. Had he not been offside there, Masouras, that would have been an interesting one.
Well, Martinez, as you say, the first contact was with the ball. He was just able to side-foot it away, but then his foot on the follow-through had just caught the arm of Masouras, and it would have been a decision for the referee to make. Had play been allowed to continue, the referee decided there was no foul. Martinez was lying on the ground 30 yards out, and the ball was at the feet of Chiquinho. Anyway, the offside flag was up. It's all academic. 20 minutes to go. And here's Douglas Luiz in the heart of the midfield for Aston Villa. And another Olympiacos player has gone down off the ball. I think it might be Iborra. It's gone out of play for a throw. The referee is giving it Villa's way, I think. The assistant referee said that the last touch came off for Tunis. Meanwhile, Iborra is now sitting up, but feeling his ankle a little bit gingerly. Martinez comes across to help him up. 70 gone. Olympiacos 1, Villa 0 here on Talksport. That's 5-2 to the Greeks on aggregate. Now get this. Bayer Leverkusen 0, Roma 2.
Oh, incredible.
2-2 on aggregate. And Paredes has scored again.
Has he indeed? So
one in each half for Leandro Paredes. And Bayer Leverkusen unbeaten in all competitions all season.
They've gone.
A 2-0 down. Sack him. Get rid. They're 2-0 down.
Oh.
Xabi Alonso's washed up.
Amazing, isn't it?
18 minutes to go. But Roma 2-0 up there. Remember, they were 100-1 to qualify from that semi-final, having been 2-0 down going into it tonight. But Bayer Leverkusen still with time to fight back. If they get one back, they will still be going through. And of course, extra time, they could go through on penalties, but they won't want to lose the unbeaten record. If they go through on penalties, it would still count as a defeat. Iborra's back on his feet and is making his way down towards this near touchline. Emery is saying that this is all taking far too long, and he's motioning. He's making a pillow out of his hands and putting his head on it as if to indicate that he's falling asleep because he's dying of boredom with the amount of time that Olympiacos are taking.
It's very true. And right in front of Unai Emery, who's still gesticulating towards Iborra coming off the field. Fortuna is not happy. The Olympiacos skipper with the Villa boss.
And play does restart with an Aston Villa throw. Douglas Luiz finding Cash. Cash playing it out towards the Villa right-hand side for Bailey. Bailey controlling the ball on the right-hand touchline. He's put under a little bit of pressure. He's played it back for Cash. Cash now to Konsa. Remember when they had that brilliant win at Arsenal, Aston Villa? They did score 2 goals in the last 5 minutes of that game. But they need 3 now with 18 to go. Plus stoppage time. And as Unai Emery has implied, there should be a fair bit of it. Here's Konsa. Goes down towards the right-hand side again for Aston Villa. Bailey trying to turn inside. Gets it away from El Kaabi, who's back defending now. Irabunen back for the blonde-haired Cash. Konsa will take over. Konsa goes to his left-hand side and the ball will be played for by Pau Torres. He's 15 yards outside the penalty area. Goes out towards Cash again. Cash making his way forward. The boos and whistles just indicating that it's Villa in sustained possession. Ball chips inside the penalty area. Watkins trying to get the jump on Retsos, couldn't quite. And then Douglas Luiz has lost out. And a chance for Chiquinho to bring the ball forward, and Irabunen knew the danger of letting him play the next pass. So he's fouled him, and he's going to get a yellow card.
Yeah, just a little bit of confusion there. Irabunen and Douglas Luiz. Just a little bit hesitant, the pair of them from there. Chiquinho just nipping in and making sure that he gets the wrong side of Villa's substitute, draws the foul. That's exactly what they want, Olympiacos. Every time the game stops now, it gives them a chance to reset, get a breather. It's the perfect scenario when you've got 3 goals in your back pocket.
A reminder that coming up this weekend, Fulham against Manchester City, 12:30, the next instalment in the title race. And that's Game Day Live, the award-winning Game Day Live, starting at 11, 12:30 kickoff, Fulham against Manchester City. And then Spurs against Burnley, Talksport 2's exclusive game, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sunday, the Championship playoffs start. It's Norwich Leeds, followed by West Brom Southampton. Both of those games live right here on Talksport, kicking off at 12 and 2:15 respectively. We've also got the Women's FA Cup final on Sunday. Spurs against Manchester United is on Talksport 2. Now Olympiacos have just made a change. Iborra's not able to continue, and Andre Horta, who came off the bench in the first leg, is the man that has come on to replace him, a Portuguese defensive midfielder. So he is on for the final probably 20 minutes or so of playing time. Villa still needing 3 to take this to extra time. It's going to be extraordinarily heroic if they can put it off from here. But where there's life. The ball played by Cash to Konsa. It goes out towards the right-hand side of the midfield. Back he goes for Konsa again. Villa's still struggling to really be dynamic enough, as if the lack of time is of little consequence for them. They're certainly not panicking, and give them that. Ball played forward. Cash will take it on the half volley. Heads it down. Can he pull it back? He can towards the near post. Smuggled away before it got to Watkins, and out of play for a corner. That was better.
Brilliant run. Great run from Matt Cash, that. Excellent run. Really good switch from Konsa. Cash has got his head down, sprinted behind that Olympiacos line, which was held quite high. Got right to the byline, fired it back to Ollie Watkins, who was closely marked at the near post. And like everything pretty much for Villa tonight, it's just not falling for them, and it's out for another corner.
Matty Cash doing well. That was a good ball in, well defended that time by Retsos.
It was well defended, you're right, Jim.
Just nipped in. Cash was with his head down on the hoardings in frustration, because he thought that might have been an assist and a way back into the game. It is another corner after another Olympiacos player needed treatment for injury. McGinn playing the ball back, left-footed ball swung in, but Bailey's cross just hit Matsuras and goes straight out of play for a throw. A throw which will be taken over on the Villa right-hand side by Cash. 15 to go. One back now will make it decidedly interesting. Ball thrown in towards the near post. Goalkeeper comes to the penalty spot, punches it off the head of Konsa. Cash trying to win it back. Olympiacos play it forward. Counter-attack is always on here. Abunum slides in, and he's done enough to put El Kaabi off his stride, but no more. Villa struggling to regain their defensive shape, and in the end Douglas Luiz comes back, toe pokes it away and puts it out of play for a throw. There'll be an immediate inquest into how easy the potential was for that counter-attack. 14 to go, and the change is going to be made by Olympiacos, and it's going to be El Kaabi who will come off. But boy, has he done some damage over the 2 legs.
He has, hasn't he? Yeah. Some of his goals obviously at Villa Park, very good. The finish tonight was everything that the team needed early on, when Villa had kind of established themselves in the game quite nicely in that opening 10-15 minutes.
Sakini comes off and Apostolopoulos comes on. I was hoping he would.
Yeah, I bet he was, Jim. I was delighted just to see him come on.
He might not touch it much. The ball's come off McGinn.
But that's perfect for Mendeley Barnell, the Olympiacos coach. He can just apply fresh legs wherever he feels he needs it. And you can hear the noise in the stadium now, the home fans starting to get in celebratory mood.
So El Kaabi stayed on. It doesn't look as though they were going to make a double change. It ended up being a single. So only Keeney off, and replaced by the 21-year-old Greek under-21 international left back, Apostolopoulos. Here's Digne across the halfway line. Pau Torres, play forward by him, out towards McGinn to Digne. Bailey's in the middle, so too Duran, but the keeper's there as well, and it was straight down his throat.
Yeah. Well, since John Duran has come on, he's dropping short. He doesn't really know where to run, and that's, again, as I said, because Villa don't really seemingly have that plan B chance.
Long ball over the top. El Kaabi's on it. El Kaabi scores, and that's that. Aston Villa's long wait for a European final, well, I was going to say it's come to an end. The flag has come up against El Kaabi pretty late, but the flag is up and it stays 1-0, and the replay shows it's the correct decision.
Yeah, it is the correct decision. Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa a yard from the halfway line. El Kaabi, the ball with his goalkeeper at his feet, just peels off into a wide area, the ball thumps straight up the middle. That's what I'd like to see Villa do a bit more of. Just mix it up a little bit. It's being checked, this one, because it is quite a tight call.
Well, El Kaabi thought he was on. Well, they'll be having a look just to make sure he didn't run from inside his own half. I don't think he did. No. I think he was already in Villa territory when the ball was played by the goalkeeper. Very difficult one for the assistant referee to check, because he's going by the sound,
yes,
or the other assistant referee telling him when the ball is kicked.
Yeah, it wasn't Pau Torres, it was Ezri Konsa, was the deepest Villa central defender. El Kaabi had pulled right out, almost just in front of the dugouts, right on the halfway line, just in the Villa half of the field.
Well, judging by the reaction of the faces on the Villa bench, I think they think this might go against them, and that he's onside. Paco Ayestaran was having a look at the monitor. Unai Emery slumped back in his chair. He's clearly very close. The fact that it's taking as long as it is means that there are pixels in it in terms of the frame. We'll have another look at it now. So when you have a look at the picture from the angle that we are shown, it doesn't look as though it is particularly close, as Konsa was pushing up, but might just not quite have got up on.
Yeah, might be his back foot.
Yeah.
His back leg, Jim, might just have played him on. It's very, very close, this. Very close.
Still they're looking at it. Stands. 2-0 Olympiacos, and Villa's long wait for a European final, I'm afraid, is going to continue. No way back now. A semi-final in which they were the overwhelming favourites, beaten at home. They're going to be beaten away as well. Villa 6-2 down on aggregate. There is no way back, and I'm afraid their European dream is in the same state of ruin as the Acropolis.
It's a great finish from El Kaabi. It really is, that one. It's clever play. Goalkeeper, just again, sensing that Villa are squeezing and pressing, launches it from the edge of his own 18-yard box. And it's Ezri Konsa's back foot that appears to be just playing El Kaabi on, who's right over towards the technical area, and then sprints to a central position, touches it with his head and rifles it past Emi Martinez into the back of the net.
3 goals in Birmingham, 2 in Piraeus. You can't give him a sniff of goal. He's a brilliant finisher. Yeah. He's proved that on a consistent basis over the last week, over the last season. Up to 33 goals for the campaign now. Olympiacos 2, Villa 0, and it is all over by the shouting. The party has well and truly started. They won't have any flights to book, but the taxi companies are doing good business as we speak ahead of the final. It's a 10-mile journey northeast from Piraeus up to Athens, and they will be flooding up there in their numbers. Olympiacos 2, Villa 0. Now Leverkusen have won back. Leverkusen 1, Roma 2, so that's 3-2 on aggregate. That's enough for the Germans to go through, not to maintain their 48-match unbeaten record. It'll be 49 if they can find an equaliser tonight, but it will take them through, and it's a Mancini own goal that at the moment is the aggregate winner in that tie. Leverkusen 1, Roma 2, 3-2 to Leverkusen on aggregate. Here's John McGinn for the Villa, who are just now in the vicinity of trying to save a little bit of face.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's all over for the Villa boys again. And what it's shown tonight really is that, you just see this cross from Luca Digne finding its way in. No, unable to do it. You know, we live in an era now where we can become obsessed with certain stats and keeping the ball and ticking all those boxes.
Long throw inside the penalty area, goalkeeper catches it.
And I was just going to say, Jim, don't ever lose sight of the fact what really matters is scoring goals and getting that ball in the box and making something happen. Sometimes it can't be perfect, sometimes it can't be pretty, if Villa have been guilty of anything, obviously the first leg was a poor performance by their high standards, but guilty of anything tonight, keeping the ball, good shape, yes, but without a cutting edge. And if you haven't got a cutting edge in European football, you ain't going to find a way through. And I'm afraid they've just come up short in that respect tonight.
Well, the situation will give Unai Emery the opportunity to blood some youngsters. Now we're going to see Kellyman come on very shortly. We're going to see Kessler Hayden come on. They have both started games for Villa in the past. We're also going to see Finn Monroe, a young left-back, who will be making his first-team debut in a European semi-final.
Yeah. Well, again, now for Unai Emery, yes, give the youngsters some experience. Great for them. But also just leave a bit in the tank for his senior boys who have got to go again at the weekend to make sure of this top four spot. I think it'll take something dramatic to happen for Villa not to get there now, but they love to make sure of it this weekend.
Now they face Liverpool Monday night, and we are there. You'll hear it here on Talksport with the kick-off at 8 o'clock, build-up starting at 7. As Douglas Luiz brings the ball forward, plays it out towards the Aston Villa right-hand side now for Bailey. 85 gone. Villa need 4 goals to get this to extra time. Douglas Luiz dragging the ball back. Play to Tim Irabunen. Worked forward by him into the feet of Duran. Irabunen again to Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz to McGinn. McGinn has got Digne making a run in off the left flank. McGinn works it back the other way towards Irabunen. Out towards the right-hand side of the penalty area. Chance for Bailey to try and deliver across. Dropping his shoulder, trying to go around the outside, and goal kick is given, well defended by Apostolopoulos. Villa will now make the changes, and the youngsters coming on would have much rather they've been in completely different circumstances at all, but how good to see the likes of Kane Kessler-Hayden, Amari Kellerman getting minutes. What a special moment this will be for Finn Monroe. Yeah. For his family as well. You think of all the schlepping about, going to sessions from a very young age without a shadow of a doubt, and what a reward it is for the player to finally make his first team debut at the age of 19. Amari Kellerman has experienced that before. He's only 18. This is his 5th Villa appearance since they signed him from the Derby Academy. Kane Kessler-Hayden's actually played more than 80 senior games in his career, but this only his 4th in an Aston Villa shirt. But a good moment for young boys.
Great moment for the young boys. Good luck to them for the rest of the game tonight, and indeed their careers. Let's hope they have long and successful ones in Villa colours. Strangely, the way the game has gone, Jim, tonight, the fact that Olympiacos look like they're going to get over the line with a very handsome 4-goal cushion means it's a lot easier to take this defeat in a semi-final. Had it have been by the odd goal, then it would have been so much more difficult, I think, to swallow for the Villa lads. But over the 2 legs, they haven't done well enough. The first leg was a real poor effort from them, it's got to be said. Much better than what they showed at Villa Park a week ago. Tonight they've done all right. They just haven't been able to find a cutting edge, and they've got done a couple of times on the counter. So it's a lot easier to take. When you've been well beaten, you just have to take it on the chin and move on.
Just a little bit of housekeeping. Those substitutions. Kessler-Hayden coming on for Cash at right back. Monroe coming on for Digne at left back. And Kellyman has replaced Bailey on the right wing. We've got 2.5 minutes to go. Olympiacos 2, Villa 0. It is going to be an Olympiacos-Fiorentina final in Athens. It will be live on Talksport. It is going to be May the 29th. Douglas Luiz, I beg your pardon, in the midfield, playing the ball out towards the right-hand side. Chance now for Kessler-Hayden to deliver, and his cross takes a deflection and goes behind for another Aston Villa corner, which McGinn will come across to take in the 89th minute. Olympiacos 2, Villa 0. 6-2 on aggregate, and the better side are going through over the 2 games. That Villa can't have too many complaints.
No, and I think that actually tonight, the way that things have gone for the home team, they've done it right. They defended deep. They've never been stretched. they've never really looked like being stretched. There's a yellow card there for John Duran, as we saw Retsos hit the floor. The Villa striker has come on, and I'm afraid that's pretty much the only time he's come in contact with anything, I think, so far, and he's ended up getting a yellow card for that.
So corner to be taken on the Aston Villa right-hand side. Swung in towards the near post. Potentially dangerous flick out of Douglas Luiz coming in at the back post, trying to get the decisive touch to help it over the line. There's been a clash between Douglas Luiz and one of the Olympiacos players as both went for the ball. Play allowed to continue. Good advantage played again in the midfield as Rodney was fouled. And the Olympiacos captain, Kostas Fortounis, can bring the ball forward. And then he, in turn, is fouled again in the centre of midfield by Monroe. And it's going to be a free kick to Olympiacos. Atalanta will be in the final of the Europa League. They're 3 up on the night against Marseille. They scored a third in the 5th minute of stoppage time. That's 4-1 on aggregate. Bayer Leverkusen in the 2nd minute of stoppage time in their game with Roma. Still 2-1 down on the night. 3-2 up on aggregate. So they're going through, but they're going to lose the unbeaten run. It's going to end at 48. Unless they can find a late equaliser, you wouldn't put it past them. In fact, Atalanta have won that game. That's finished now 3-0. This one, it's got 15 seconds of normal time left. It should be quite a bit of stoppage time to be added. I don't think either head coach will want it to unfold like that. There is no need. We're about to go into the additional time, but it's just going to be prolonging the agony as far as Villa are concerned. Ball played down towards the blonde head, substitute Monroe, he can't quite control it. And Rodney comes across, there's almost a yawn from him as he bends down to pick the ball up, and we're in 4 minutes of added time.
Yeah. Incredible atmosphere in the stadium right now, as you can imagine. It's just a sea of red and white, apart from the very faithful travelling Villa fans up in one corner of the ground, but it's party time, I'm afraid, for Olympiacos.
They've got possession again. And Alcabi's in again. He's on a hat-trick. Checks the ball back, trying to get away from Kessler. Hayden on the edge of the penalty area. But in came a strong challenge from Konsa. And Villa survived it.
He was away there. Certainly was Alcabi, but having got the wrong side of that Villa back line, he then tried to take it onto his left foot, which gave Konsa a chance to have a nibble at it and recover.
Jenny O'Hara and Jason Cundy taking your calls next on the Sports Bar. 03717223344. You can send the boys a voice note as well. Get through to have your sound national radio. Villa fans, what have you made of this European campaign? What have you made of these 2 ties? Is it to show a few frailties in the Villa side, or is it purely down to fatigue and the horrendous injury problems that have affected your club over such a long period? Andre Horta brought down on the edge of his own penalty area, 2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. They've got 3.5 minutes of stoppage time to go in Leverkusen. They're playing 7 minutes there, and it's still 2-1 to Roma, but 3-2 to Leverkusen on aggregate. And as things stand, it is going to be Leverkusen and Atalanta in the Europa League final. All 3 European finals live for you on Talksport. Champions League final, Real Madrid against Dortmund at Wembley on Saturday, June the 1st. And the Europa League and the Conference League finals, the 2 preceding Wednesdays. Ball is worked down the left flank. That's a foul on Kessler Hayden, and a free kick which will be taken by Villa in the right back position with only 90 seconds or so to go now.
Yeah, look, it's a learning curve. All of these defeats, you do take something from it, you do. And hopefully Villa now in Champions League football next season, if they get over the line, can take this experience, a tough one, into those European matches next season, and they'll use it to good effect.
Duran playing the ball forward for Villa. They try to knock it back to him, but the touch wasn't right from Kellerman. Monroe to his right-hand side for Pau Torres. Ball over the top. Looping header from Watkins. Well saved. That's been his best moment of the night, and it's come in the 93rd minute. It's a looping, diving header from Ollie Watkins. Not dissimilar. Do you remember that Robin van Persie goal in the World Cup against Spain? It didn't quite needed as truly as that, but he was about 20 yards out.
Yeah.
And Salakis had to come and backpedal quickly to tip it over the bar.
De Bruyne got one of them recently, Jim, as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Same sort of thing.
First heady goal of his career down at Brighton.
That's right.
Corner taken, swung inside the penalty area, headed away. Chiquinho getting it further clear. It's going to go over the head of Irabunum in the midfield for Villa. He plays it back for Kessler Hayden, and he's forced to go all the way back for his goalkeeper. Martinez side foots it back for Kane. Kessler Hayden plays it down towards Monroe. 20 seconds to go. Douglas Luiz for the Villa on halfway. Inevitably, a lot will be going through his mind tonight after the penalty that he gave away and the one that he missed last week. How different things might have been, but ultimately it just wasn't to be. 4 minutes of stoppage time are up, and I think the next time the ball is put in play from this throw, that might be the end of the game. There will be a throw which will be taken by Rodinei on the right hand side. McGinn has just been called over here. Pau Torres has been called over as well for Villa. And I think what the referee is saying, he's telling the players that the full-time whistle is going to go, and he wants the Villa players as close as possible to the touchline for when that full-time whistle does go. It is a night of success for Olympiacos. Immense credit to them. Their first ever European semi-final graduates into their first ever European final, and the first Greek side to meet to reach a major showpiecing event for more than half a century. Aston Villa hoping for their first European final for 42 years, ultimately fell short. El Kaabi doing the damage in Birmingham and doing more damage in Piraeus tonight. A couple of goals, one early in the game, one very late. Villa, in truth, well beaten over the two legs. There were moments of promise, but certainly it's a European campaign of so many fantastic, positive memories, but one that ends in regret. It's finished Olympiacos 2, Villa 0, 6-2 to Olympiacos on aggregate.
So it's heartbreak for Aston Villa. The return to European football for the first time in a decade has seen them fall at the final fence. Jose Luis Mendilibar led Sevilla to the Europa League title last season. He's now one game away from leading Olympiacos to their first ever European title. It would be a first major European trophy ever won by a Greek side. And the final's going to be in Athens in just under 3 weeks' time. Fiorentina, last year's runners-up, await. By the way, the Europa League final almost confirmed. We'll see Bayer Leverkusen face Atalanta in Dublin on the 22nd of May. Both finals will be live on the Talksport network. The reason I'm basically out of breath is because Leverkusen have just equalised to keep their unbeaten record going. There's 7 minutes or so in stoppage time, only a minute or so away from the end of that game. A few complaints as the goal has just gone in, but they lead 4-2 on aggregate. It is 2-2 on the night, so they should be going through to the final, where they will face Atalanta. As I say, Ademola Lookman among the scorers for them, as they beat Marseille 3-0 to win 4-1 on aggregate. Elsewhere tonight, by the way, Warrington beat Hull KR 20 points to 8 in Super League. But Andy Townsend, let's focus on this very quickly. Real disappointment for Aston Villa over the two legs, but they can take pride from the campaign as a whole.
Well, look, the season as a whole, Hugh, I mean, I think there's a lot to be encouraged by. Look, it looks very much like Villa are going to be playing Champions League football next season. Over the two legs against Olympiacos, poor in the first leg, kind of handed all the impetus and advantage to Olympiacos. Started the night quite bright and then got caught. And that's classic European football, and that is a learning curve, and that is something that they'll have to take on the chin and move forward from. They'll talk about it, they'll no doubt watch a bit of it at the right time, just to see exactly why and how over the two matches they never really got up to speed. They didn't have that cutting edge, and Villa this season have always played good football. They've got a good shape, but they've always had a threat and a cutting edge and guys that are able to make something out of nothing. That didn't happen over these two legs, and that is why Olympiacos deservedly are finding themselves playing in their homeland in a Europa Conference final.
They will need to bounce back very quickly, though, won't they? Aston Villa against Liverpool is live on Talksport on Monday evening. Huge game for them in their Champions League hopes. They then go away to an informed Crystal Palace on the final day. But if they can make the Champions League and get over the hurdle in those two games, as you say, would be huge.
Yeah, I think and it will be a reward for a team that have played some really nice stuff, are a genuine big club in Premier League football terms, and will deservedly take their place in Champions League football. It will be great to see them back. But this tonight will hurt. It will sting for a while, but well beaten over the two legs. They can have very little complaints.
The Olympiacos players are celebrating with their fans. Real joy for them. Andy Townsend, Jim Proudfoot, thank you for a great commentary tonight. Villa fans, is this something you can build on? Can you take real pride and positivity from your campaign in Europe this year? Or do you feel truly let down by conceding 6 over the two legs? Give us a call. Let us know what you think. The number, as always, 03717 223344. Sports Bar on the way with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. But the Greek gods could well be dancing in the streets of Athens this month. Olympiacos are through to Europa League Conference final, and Aston Villa are out. Your reaction up next with Talksport. The number 03717 223344.